class, hope you're okay. Today we're going to look at balancing equations. So what this means is that one side is going to be balanced with the other side. So we're going to look at some cats first of all to see how that would work. So how many cats are there? I want you to have a look and I want you to think about how we can write that. Okay, so we've got 6 cats, 4 of them are small, 2 of them are large. So how would we write that as a number sentence? Maybe pause the video, write it down and have a go. Can you write it more than one way? So here we have 2 add 4 equals 6 because we've got 2 large cats, 4 small cats and 6 altogether. But we could also have written it like this: 4 add 2 equals 6 because we've got 4 small cats, 2 large cats, which equals 6 in total. So it doesn't matter which way we write it, it gives us the same answer. We're just switching those numbers around. We could also write it like this. So we've got 2 add 4 on one side with the 2 large and the 4 small cats. Remember, there's 6 on that side. Equals 4 add 2. We've got 4 small cats and 2 large cats. So each number sentence that we've written is equal to 6 on either side. So it's like 6 on one side, 6 on the other, and they equal the same because they're the same number. If you were to put them in some scales, we were to put 2 cubes and 4 cubes in one side and 4 cubes and 2 cubes in the other side, they would balance out. They would be exactly the same. If you added more cubes onto one side, that's when that would be heavier, but if you add the same amount of cubes, then they are balanced on each side. So let's have a look at that in a little bit more detail. So if I had my scales, as I've just said, and I had 2 add 4 on one side and 4 add 2 on the other, the reason we can say these balanced is because we know both equations on their own actually add up to 6. So we know that 2 add 4 is 6, and you can see that on one side of my scale, and we know 4 add 2 is 6, so that's on the other side of my scale, and they are equal to each other because they both equal the same. So we could have 6 equals 6 and write that down, and to make it a little bit more trickier, that's why we've written it as the number sentence. So you've got to work out one side to find out what that is. So I knew 2 add 4 was 6, and then I worked out the other side, 4 add 2, and I knew that was 6. So that's how I know they are balanced, because they are the same on either side. So let's talk about it in a little bit more detail with some stories and some problems before you have a go on your own. So let's tell a story. First of all, there was one child swinging on the swing. Then 3 more children came to join him. Now there are 4 children on the swing. So we can write that as 1 add 3 equals 4. 1 add 3 equals 4. Okay, let's tell it a different way. So first there were 3 children swinging on the swing. Then 1 more person came along to join them. And now there is 4. So we can write that as 3 add 1 giving us 4. 3 add 1 equals 4. So, I told you very similar stories, but the number sentence had switched around. So if we look at the first story I told you, I said there was, first of all, there was 1 person, then 3 more joined, which equaled 4. But then my next story was first there were 3, then 1 more joined, and now there are 4. So it's a similar story, but we've switched the numbers around. So instead of having 1 add 3 equals 4, we've got 3 add 1 equals 4. And we could also write it as 1 add 3 equals 3 add 1. So again, we've got 1 add 3 on one side, which equals 4, and 3 add 1 on the other side, which equals 4. So they are what we call balanced. 4 equals 4, because they are the same. Let's have a look in a number problem. Lola has £4 in her purse and another £5. Finn has £5 in his purse and another £4. Who has more money? So there's Lola's purse. So she's got £4 in her purse with 5 more pounds. And Finn has got £5 in his purse and 4 more pounds. Who has the most money? Have a little think, pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Who has the most money? So Lola has got 4 add 5, which equals 9, and Finn has got 5 add 4 equals 9. So who has the most money? Neither of them, because they've both got the same. It's just switched around. They are both balanced. So we could write that as 4 add 5 equals 5 add 4. So we've both got exactly the same. What I want you to do is I want you to have a go at this, which is true or false. So I want you to look at the equation that I've given you, and I want you to say whether it's true or false. So is 2 add 1 equal to 1 add 2? Would you put true or false? Pause the video, have a go, and the answers will be on the next slide. So here are the answers. Again, pause the video so you can mark your own work, but also don't forget to email Mrs. Jackson and Miss Creasy your work. So we've got 2 add 1 equals 1 add 2. Yeah, that's true because each side equals 3. Then we've got 3 add 4 equals 3 add 4. That's true as well. They're both the same, aren't they? Okay, so again, that hasn't been switched around. Just a bit of a tricky one to see what you could do. So 3 add 4 is 7, which equals 3 add 4, which is 7. The next one is 2 add 2 equals 2 add 2. Yeah, both of those equal 4. The next one is false. Okay, I wonder if you knew why the next one was false. 3 add 5 is 8. And 8 add 3 is 11. So 8 does not equal 11 because they are completely different numbers. They've got to be the same number to equal each other. And the last one was false again because 4 add 5 is 9, and that does not equal 4 add 4, which is 8. You can't have 9 equals 8 because again, they are different numbers. They have got to be the same number to balance. Right, next one, we're going to do some missing numbers. So let's have a look at these missing numbers. So I've put one number sentence on one side and a missing number on the other side. It might be the first part that's missing, it might be the second part of the equation. What I want you to do is all of these balance, okay, so they are all the same. So what I mean is it's the same on either side. So remember that, don't just put, okay, that I know that I'll just put 3 because 1 add 6 equals 3 add 1, because that wouldn't be right. Remember, they've got to balance. So if you had 1 add 6, what would the missing number be to go with 1 to make it balance? Pause the video, have a go at these balancing equations. Remember, they've got to be the same on either side. It has to balance. Here are the answers. So, did you get them right? Tick them off as we go along. So 1 add 6 equals 6 add 1 because we had the 1 there and we were missing the 6, so it just switched it round. 4 add 5 equals 5 add 4. Okay, so both sides are equal. 6 add 3 equals 3 add 6. 4 add 3 equals 3 add 4. 5 add 3 equals 5 add 3. 3 add 1 equals 1 add 3. Hope you got on all right there, whole class, with those balancing equations. So remember, when we balance an equation, it's got to be the same on either side. Don't forget to email over Mrs. Jackson and Miss Creasy with your fantastic work. Stay safe, whole class.